Breaking news here into HQ coming out of the world of recruiting. Five-star running back Savon Haidider has committed to Michigan, making that pledge moments ago at a ceremony at his high school. The 5'11", 200-pound running back out of Mineral, Virginia, chose the Wolverines over the likes of Tennessee, Ohio State, and Georgia. As you see, he leads the class of 2026 in all running backs and is the number 17th ranked player overall. We now bring in the director of scouting for 24/7 Sports, Andrew Ivins. And Andrew, first off, this decision we thought was going to come in about an hour and a half, but Haidider not wasting any time to pledge that commitment towards Michigan. Your surprise there and reaction that it is the Wolverines that he chooses?
Well, not much of a surprise. Michigan has done an excellent job down the stretch with Haidider. I think the big thing here is Michigan is following up landing the #1 overall quarterback last cycle in Bryce Underwood with the #1 running back here in the class of 2026. And it has been a while since we've had a five-star running back for 24/7 Sports. If you carry that tag, we think the world of you, and that's the case with Savon Haidider. You'll go to his 24/7 Sports profile. O'Marion Hampton's the comp. I got a Big Ten comp for everyone. How about Nick Singleton at Penn State? This kid has everything you want in the position. He's 200 pounds. He's got 10.5-inch hands, 4.5 in the 40-yard dash, 4.12 in the short shuttle, and as a junior, over 10 yards per carry, 3 kickoff return touchdowns. He's young for the grade. He's super clean, a great mix of burst, power, agility, balance, and vision. And for Michigan, they now have the future of their offense with Bryce Underwood and Savon Haidider. And here's the other thing. Sharon Moore, a coach with an offensive line background, he's done an excellent job of recruiting the big bodies up front. So Michigan, you look 2-3 years down the line, they're going to have 2 playmakers in the backfield, and Underwood and Haidider, and it's going to be fun to watch there in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, if O'Marion Hampton is the comp you're going with, him playing now Sundays in the NFL, certainly a good situation for Haidider to be linked to. Just to speak a little bit more on a five-star running back from 24/7 to have that ranking, since it doesn't happen as often as we've seen in the past. Just how big of a moment is this? And I know you touched on it, but just how special is Haidider?
Again, I mean, he is a box checker for us, and I think this time next year, so next August, as we gear up for the 2026 college football season, Savon Haidider is going to be one of these true freshmen we talk about as immediate impact contributors. I think he's a guy that has workhorse potential. He is someone that can run for 1,000 yards. And Gideon Davidson, who's going to suit up for Clemson this year as a true freshman, you know, we like him a lot. He wasn't a five-star prospect for us. Savon Haidider from the same state, obviously, you know, we like him that much more. So for Michigan, this is a huge, huge win. You know, this time last year, Michigan was struggling on the recruiting front, and Sharon Moore turns it around. They get Bryce Underwood in the boat. Now Savon Haidider here in the 2026 cycle, it moves Michigan's recruiting class into the top 10 of the 24/7 Sports composite team rankings. So as much as everyone wants to talk about the transfer portal and free agency adding these parts, it still starts with the high school talent acquisition and getting guys that are ready to play at premium positions. That goes a long way. And for Michigan, you know, back-to-back top 10 recruiting classes, that's how it's shaping up. And again, that star power in the backfield with Underwood and Haidider.
Yeah, you mentioned Underwood, and of course, we all remember all the NIL talk of Underwood finally deciding to go to Michigan. He recently just signed a new NIL deal with Beats by Dre. So we know just how much money is headed into the program of Michigan. What does this maybe tell you, #1, about the Wolverines and their commitment to throwing the bag out there, I'll say, and what do you think Haidider might have got out there on the free market to end up deciding to go to Michigan?
Oh, he's going to be compensated well. I mean, that's certainly the case with these five-star prospects. Savon Haidider had plenty of different options. And yeah, you know, college football, the landscape has changed here in recent years. But at the end of the day, you still have to recruit these prospects. You still have to build the relationships, and you still have to point to the fact that you can get them to the NFL. Sure, some kids are just worried about getting paid up front, but at the end of the day, that NFL contract still matters. If you look at Michigan, it is one of the top player development programs in the sport right now. They have a track record for making us at 24/7 Sports look bad, because they take these 3-star prospects and they turn them into NFL draft picks. Now they're getting these 5 stars, and it'll be interesting to see what they can squeeze out of them. I think the other thing, Michigan, Savon Haidider is the 4th prospect from the state of Virginia to commit to Michigan in the cycle. So they're doing an excellent job of recruiting that area. It has been a hotbed for them over the years. So yeah, compensation certainly plays a large part, but at the end of the day, Michigan can point to some of these running backs they've had in the past. They can point to the fact that, hey, we recruit the offensive line so well. And I think at the end of the day, it's just a perfect marriage between two parties in terms of what Savon Haidider is able to provide and what Michigan's able to provide for him.
So Haidider, the latest 5 stars to come off the board and define his college home. But there's some other commitments that we have our eyes on right now. Coming up later this week, some more 5 stars will make their decisions. We're looking at Bralan Womack, and I am excited for his decision on Thursday that will be carried over on 24/7 Sports. And the reason, obviously, that I'm excited is because he's a 5-star, #1 safety in the class that is considering my alma mater, the Florida Gators. When you look at Womack, what do you think ends up happening with him?
Well, Auburn is believed to be the team to beat heading into his decision on Thursday. Tom Lloyd for 24/7 Sports. He'll be in Mississippi carrying that pledge, and that would be a much-needed win for Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers. Right now, they're sitting 54th in the rankings. That's 14th in the SEC. It's kind of been a summer to forget, and Hugh Freeze entering a pivotal year, and Bralan Womack is a guy that they have zeroed in on. I think he might be the cleanest or safest safety prospect to come out of the high school ranks since Caleb Downs, who obviously did it at Alabama, did it last year at Ohio State. Bralan Womack, Mississippi Gatorade Player of the Year last year, 3-phase impact guy. And the reason why we're so convicted in him is he can cover, right? These safety prospects, they're going to have to be able to do a little bit of everything, but the big thing is they need to be man defenders. We have seen that for him, and one of the reasons why I think Auburn is in such a good shape right here is his sister plays softball for the Tigers. So, if it is Auburn and it isn't Florida or any of these other schools, that would breathe some much needed good energy and vibes into the Plains as they gear up for, again, a pivotal year 3 for Hugh Freeze there.
So Womack, the 5-star safety that we have our eyes on. Then on Friday, we get a 5-star offensive lineman in Darius Gray. He'll make his commitment. Where do things stand with Gray?
Again, talking with Tom Lloyd this morning, he thinks it's a South Carolina LSU battle down the stretch. Keep an eye on the Gamecocks here. Shane Beamer didn't get a 5-star in the 2025 recruiting cycle, but in 2023, he got Nick Harbor. In 2024, he got Dylan Stewart. Those are 2 of the biggest stars in the sport right now. Darius Gray, the name of the game with him is versatility. I think he can play all 5 spots up front. I think he could even potentially be a center. He's an extremely athletic mover. He's violent, and he was a late addition to this past winter's Navy All-American Bowl. He was one of the only juniors there, and I think he was the top interior offensive lineman at that event. And that's notable because Spike Sowles, he's going to start as a true freshman for NC State at center this year. So we love Darius Gray, what he's been able to do, 2-way player there in Virginia. And if it is South Carolina, a nice win for Shane Beamer, who probably doesn't get enough credit as a recruiter. Also keep an eye on LSU. Brad Davis, that offensive line coach, they do an excellent job as well, and they're building a special recruiting class of their own.
So as the college football season gets ready to start, same thing with high school football, recruiting heating up just as much out there on the trail with the commitments we're looking forward to this week. Andrew Ivins, thank you so much. Always a pleasure talking some college football and everything over on 24/7 Sports, where you can get your recruiting news, your wall-to-wall team coverage, see how things might be shaking out in the transfer portal as well. Go tap in with the fine folks at 24/7. Get that inside information.